Shout out to Rick.
Yo, what up, everybody? Thank you for watching The Real Word. Shout out to everybody who's been watching. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting. This is season 4, episode 26.
Merry Christmas. We're not
yeah.
gonna see that.
Happy holidays to everyone that's watching. You know, we hope that you getting your holiday shopping going on. You
I
know,
didn't get my ugly sweater.
don't go too broke shopping. You know. But shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Shout out to everybody that subscribed to the YouTube.
That's not an ugly sweater, bro. That's a hoodie.
We finally hit over 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube. So shout out to everybody that's been following us on YouTube. Shout out to everybody that follows us on Instagram. That's at The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. The Real Word TV on YouTube. One word. The Real Word TV on YouTube. The Real Word Podcast on Apple Podcasts. And the website is www.therealwordministriesinc.org. That's therealwordministriesinc.org. And we on the Brick Network every Tuesday and Thursday at noon, 1 a.m. and 4 p.m. So shout out to everybody that's been watching. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Today we got a special guest. Introduce yourself, sir.
Emmanuel, Louissaint. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. You gotta display your resume and everything.
My resume.
Yeah, tell them a little bit about yourself, sir.
Special education teacher, middle school. Certified to do middle school and high school.
Middle school.
Certified to do special education and any other subject.
Good times.
So why do you think they call it special education? That's a good question.
Why do I think it's called
Special education.
It's an easier way to pinpoint African Americans. So, like, if you want to just keep it real, special education means you're labeled with something called the IEP.
That's independent living plan?
An individualized education program.
Okay, cool. And in welfare, they call it independent living plan.
That's another singling out the black people.
So once you're labeled with that, and you'll get it. You're supposed to get it if you have a deficit.
Okay.
But especially in these communities, I work in East New York. You get it for just being a boy.
Is it still a hood? I guess. Is it still the hood? Yeah.
Of course, it's still a hood.
I think so.
Like,
it is.
Why wouldn't it be?
They haven't made it that far yet. They're gentrifying. They got to up to Crown Heights, well, slowly.
I mean, I think they're getting close.
Yeah.
I think they are getting close.
How do you feel about the gentrified thing? Is it really it's like, in this weird way, like zombies, invading. They're just slowly infecting the area. But I guess in a positive way.
I guess that's one way to put it.
I mean, you gotta look at it, like, take your glasses off for a second. What it does is, it's people coming into your community and legitimately just pumping money in. So you can't afford to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Shout out to Emmanuel, the other Emmanuel preacher. He's watching us live. He say, "Well, what up to everybody?" So shout out to Emmanuel. He's always there supporting the show. So shout out to Emmanuel.
All right, Emmanuel to Emmanuel. This is.
And they both Haitians.
Sapase.
Don't do that.
I've been converted into the culture.
Yeah, so you know not to do that, man. Oh man.
Everybody know that one word.
No, I'm
not
No, I'm not saying it. I'm not bullying nothing.
But yeah, I think what you were saying earlier about the whole special education thing. There's a guy that speaks about that a lot. Dr. Umar Johnson. He says that they diagnose these black kids with ADHD, which basically is just a boy being a boy that just wants to play.
Yeah, he got energy.
Yeah, that can't sit still. Me having a toddler, like my son, like what happened with him is he goes to Success Academy and they put him under a grading system where like they basically treat the kids like stoplights. So they're either on green, yellow, or red, depending on how much infractions they get for the day.
Jeez.
So they start them off at green, right? So they want these kids to sit still, hold their hands, and fold for hours.
Slant.
And it's not realistic because he starts class at 7:30 in the morning.
That's when he got the most energy.
Exactly, and it was one time when it's been a few times we had to come up to the school, but it was one time I came up to the school and I pressed the principal. I'm like, yo, like, do you really expect a 5-year-old to sit still for that long? And I was like, be realistic with yourself. When you was his age, were you able to sit that long? Yes or no? And he looked at me like, and I'm like, answer the question, yes or no? he was like, well, no. I said, exactly.
See, y'all guys is wilding nowadays, man.
And then he was like,
job.
and then he was like, yeah, but this school holds kids to a higher standard than the schools that I was going to when I was growing up. I said, yeah, you're holding these kids up to unrealistic standards and you're trying to turn them into robots. Like, you're trying to take away their individuality, you trying to take away their creativity, exactly, trying to program them for society to be a slave, basically.
Society's been doing that. That's been the American.
I gotta be devil's advocate here.
Oh, that's why we have a teacher here to represent.
So, like, as someone who works in the public school system, there's a difference between a rigid routine, which is what Success Academy has, which I don't like Success Academy, by the way, but that rigid routine prepares them when they go to middle school, and you're most likely going to pull them out by the time they get to middle school. The only difference is when your son goes into junior high school, he's going to be able to read at the level he's supposed to be.
Yeah, he does read and he knows math at a high level. I'll give him that much. They do these math drills with them where they give them 20 questions for them to answer in about 5 minutes. And like he's very good in math. I give him that. And it's funny because in that whole school, like in his class, there's only 2 black kids and he's one of them. So when I go pick him up, they already know who I'm there to pick up. So
it's such an awkward experience being like one of the few black parents. Even at the school PS212, I'm going there for Emily's performance, and I'm walking in there. It's like I know the only other 3 black guys in her. It's just like, hey.
Exactly, and it's crazy. It's a
little awkward, but
the one good thing about raising your kid in a good neighborhood is they're not as materialistic as kids that grow up in low-income neighborhoods.
That's true. I don't have to hear about Jordan.
Exactly. They don't know what that is. And that's a good thing, because they're more focused on versus the sneakers that they like and the colors of the sneakers that they like versus to like what it looks like, and they get to focus more on education. Like them going to school in uniform and wearing dress shoes and dressing for success.
They don't try to look different,
Exactly. And the classes are named after colleges.
And I think that's the point where it's like Success Academy has all these negative things with it, but all the stuff is providing your kids that different opportunity than what we seen in school, what we seen growing up. It's like, you know what? Yeah, sitting up straight with your hands crossed ain't that much fun to do. But knowing what it's preparing your son for, like, I got kids in my class now in 8th grade that read at 3rd grade level.
Wow.
So it's like, which one would you rather? Like, yeah, you could be a kid, but you're just not going to know how to read. You're not going to make no money.
True. No, he's a very smart kid. I give him that. We've been fortunate to live in decent neighborhoods, I would say. And because we've lived in decent neighborhoods, they've been able to go to decent schools.
To this day, I'm not sure. Is Canarsie a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood?
Canarsie used to be a great neighborhood. When I was younger, the mayor came to the school. That's how good of the school it was. Like Mayor Giuliani and his mistress.
So we didn't grow up in the hood, man. We good.
No, Canarsie started becoming the hood when all the people from East Flatbush started to get some money and move in. Like, once the East Flatbush people...
Why he targeted that?
Where you from, Craig?
Because it is what it is.
I'm from Flatbush.
Because when the East Flatbush people start to move into Canarsie, like, that's when the game started getting messed up. Like, you know, it is what it is.
You a gentrifier. You just brought crime with you instead.
They gentrified Canarsie for the worst. When I first moved into Canarsie... When I first moved into Canarsie, I was 9 years old. So that's like what? That's like 20 21 years
that's
ago.
Okay.
21 years ago, they still had white people in Canarsie until they had white flight.
I moved in like 2000. You know, I was like 10 years old. I think it was a good
So
neighborhood.
nah,
still
there was
back.
no more white people by that time.
Nah, there was that one guy, my neighbor.
When the white people seen the black people moving in, they was like, it's time to go. They dipped off. So it is what it is, you know.
My first neighbor was white too. He taught me how to skateboard and everything.
Wow.
I had a white neighbor
Then
too,
you
man.
came, and now look.
Then you came. I
You
didn't know you
you,
then.
you gentrified Canarsie for the worse. You ain't even bring no Starbucks
we
or
was,
nothing.
We was playing basketball on the crates, man. I was still a part of the hood.
Wow.
You ain't bring no.
If you ain't played ball on
Canarsie
the
used to be
crates,
like the Beverly Hills of black culture.
apparently when I went to high school, everyone was like, "Oh, you part of the Canarsie boys?" I was like, "We a thing?" Like,
If people from the hood, like people from Flatbush, Crown Heights, Bushwick, Brownsville, if they heard that you was from Canarsie, like, "Oh, you from Canarsie? Yo, oh, you from the floors? You got money?" Like that was the thought. Like you live in a house. It was like, "Oh, you live in Canarsie? Oh, you live in a house? Oh, your parents have a house?"
it's crazy. Growing up, you kind of take it for granted. Like it was nothing to you. It was just a regular, this is my life. Like I'm not thinking that much of it. Not really doing much comparisons. But when you do the comparisons, it's like, oh,
Look at the difference.
Yeah.
Even now, Canarsie houses are still a decent amount. Like they're not cheap.
Shoot, like I can't even really get an own house in Canarsie. Like,
Facts.
I grew up
not
there.
No more.
Yeah, they like in the 600s. They slowly get into the 600s now.
Back then, my parents bought their first house in Canarsie for I think a little bit over a quarter of $1 million. And now that same house
Yeah, my mom
went
was the
triple.
same thing. Yeah.
Went triple, bro. Like 3 times,
I didn't
4
even-
times.
We didn't even get it appraised. I don't know how.
You
Guess
can
if
check
I could-
online. The way your house is valued is based upon
The other house is next to you.
it's based upon the price that the last house on that block sold for.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's how they base it
So we
on.
in the 600s.
Yeah, Canarsie. Like I'm looking for a house now, and I can't afford to live in Brooklyn.
No, it's
They
hard.
really making it hard, man.
It's
You
hard.
need 2 jobs, 3 jobs, pretty much.
And you gotta sell coke on the side.
You gotta hug the block.
Sell that in the city, man. Manhattan making it, Brooklyn taking it back. That's what.
Facts. Shout out to Andrew John on the check-in. Shout out to you, brother. Another powerful brother that done graced our platform. Shout to you, man. Shout out to all the people that came on this platform, all the talented young people. Andrew John, like he's an author. He's
It's like
also
an
a singer.
entrepreneur show.
So he does a lot, So shout out to him. It's a lot of good people that pulled up on the show that's been helping us, that's been doing all these things. So shout out to all you guys, and we thank you all for all your continued support. Yeah, man. So back to the conversation that we was having, right? About Dr. Umar Johnson and the whole special ed thing. He said that it was a way where they could target people of color, like minorities. And unfortunately, a lot of kids in these minority neighborhoods, they grow up with these diseases because of their parents. That some parents did drugs, some parents, they smoked while they was pregnant, or the environment.
The pain, man.
Yeah, and the environment that they grew up in. I remember when I was working in the South Bronx a couple of years ago as a social worker, and there was a lady right outside the corner store smoking a cigarette. And people had to whisk her away, like, move, like, there's a bunch of social workers over here. You crazy? And she was like, whatever.
She like, whenever she got to catch her fix. Like,
Sound like the South Bronx.
Yeah,
the
man.
Bronx is the different kind of. What is the Bronx? Do we even call that the hood, or is that like still called the ghetto? Like what?
They trying to change the South Bronx, like they trying to call the South Bronx Sobro, just like Soho.
Yeah.
They got a long way to go. They got. I don't think it's gonna be in our lifetime.
It's closer than East New York though.
It's closer to Manhattan.
Like in terms of like turning it around.
Mm-hmm.
After working in the East and working in the South Bronx, I think the South Bronx is closer
Okay.
to making that switch.
I haven't been in East New York in a while.
Because it's
I
closer to
gotta argue.
Manhattan, I think.
East New York was back in the thought days, That was the only reason I had to go out there.
Change man.
Exactly. Like I got no business out there no more.
I think the further it is from Manhattan, the harder it is to gentrify it. And I think the closer it is to Manhattan, the quicker it gets gentrified. Like, look at downtown Brooklyn. They got skyscrapers down there. They have a whole stadium, you know.
I was at
People
Atlanta.
can't afford rent down there at all no more.
They put Barclays there, but Barclays was like, it was a staple for Brooklyn, but then it just increased the rent for everyone else. It's like now it's out of reach.
That was an okie doke.
Yeah.
That they hit us hard with.
I mean, I feel like Barclays was needed though, man. I think so.
Yeah. Why?
Gave Brooklyn its own identity, I'll say.
I mean, but it always had its identity. Like, Brooklyn was always the city.
You could walk up in any place. You don't say I'm from New York. You say I'm from Brooklyn,
That's a fact.
and people know.
But I feel like it just we needed another milestone. I feel like we just got another accomplishment. We already got the best rappers. I feel like now we're gonna have one of the best sports teams because you know we got Kyrie and KD, and one of them could go down, and it's still gonna be a good chance of us doing good in the playoffs.
Yeah, but like at what cost, bro?
A lot of people got pushed out their homes. A lot of people's doing bad because of down there. They had said that they claimed that they were going to build a lot of affordable housing. But their definition of affordable is not our definition of affordable.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't make enough money to go into the affordable housing downtown.
I had got a chance to do some West 8th Street affordable housing, and then they said the income don't match up. I was like, oh damn. I see how it. I'm like, at least I got picked. I made it this far.
Even AJ, he was like, he don't make enough for that. And then he said the only thing that they tried to offer him was a micro apartment, like one of those new age, small, tiny apartments that they have for millennials.
They really just, I don't know.
That's like a box.
Millennials
And even that
are
was
different.
$3,000 a month. You know?
What do you think about the millennials?
I mean,
They don't need much. They just need their phone, gadgets, and.
and they like to travel. Like
Yeah.
my sister's a millennial, I would say, and one day she took out all the furniture out of her bed and she put a futon on the floor as her bed, even though my mom had bought her like a whole bed set, and she was just like she wanna live minimal, you know. And I think the millennials want to just get up and go whenever they want to, and that's why a lot of them travel. A lot of them is cultured, you know, especially if they have the luxury to do so, because
True.
you
At
need that
a young
luxury,
age,
you
yeah.
know. Before they have children and any
Before they have to pay
responsibilities,
for rent,
you
really.
know, and the fact that a lot of them graduated college, so they get decent jobs. So,
Yeah.
like some of them get jobs just to build enough to travel, pay off bills, quit the job, travel, come back, get another job.
I actually,
do it
know-
again.
I actually met people traveling. They was like they worked just for the whole year so they could travel for 6 months straight and then find another job. Like
Yeah.
they
That
was-
don't make no sense.
There's a lot of people that do that.
They don't. They look at it as they only work for their traveling.
Yeah. Because and some people laugh at people that work all the time. They say that they're slaves.
I like to travel, but I feel like with that you don't ever build a home. Your own home or even your own family, because a lot of these millennials are single.
But Jesus didn't have a home. He said, when the disciples was to follow him, he said, be aware, the foxes of the ground have holes and the birds of the airs have nests, but the Son of God have no place to lay his head. So maybe they're going based on that philosophy.
Nah, they're not just. Like, I can't speak on what Jesus said.
He was like that.
Nah, that's
they're
not
not
that.
in that. They're not in that
'cause
conversation.
They doing.
They're not healing people.
They just living without responsibilities. Like,
Yeah, basically.
They're really like renegades. Like they freelance and everything. Even what they want in relationships, they don't care. They just
Yeah, if it don't work out, they keep it pushing.
like, they don't understand. You gotta do some work sometime. Like,
but if you think about millennials, like Rickard said, it's a level of privilege with it. Like, you don't see nobody growing up broke, and then that's the person that want to travel, because traveling wasn't an option to you ever. Like,
Exactly.
like where you get a passport from? How you?
Exactly. Passports are expensive. And honestly, I didn't start traveling until I met my wife, you know. First place we went, I think, was California. Then we went to Florida. No, we went to Miami, South Beach, Florida. And then we started going to different countries. And I was talking to someone the other day, and I was telling them about the places I went. They're like, wow, you traveled a lot. And I was like, did I? And I was like, yeah, I kind of did. And she was the one that made me get the passport, I could say, you know. I think you do look at the world different when you travel. You do see
That does give
things
you experience.
differently. Yeah. You'll see the different culture. I could say it's more love most of the time. But there are people when you go on vacation that think that they shotters or think they gangsters that's gonna try you, and that's when you gotta flex that muscle.
Rickard is always ready to press.
Bro, I had to
Always.
bro, I had to pull up on someone's boat and press them one time, bro.
You notice the scenarios? It'd be like in their comfort zone. First, I press the principal in his school, and I press this guy on his boat. Like,
How you just drop that and leave it? Yeah, I pressed him on the boat. Let's move on.
Nah, because he was on the boat, and then he looked at the other guys on the boat to see if they had his back, and then they were just like, and then he hopped off the boat and came up to me, and he tried to dap me. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not dapping you. like, and I was like, you see, I know where you at every morning, bro. Stop playing games.
I had to press this guy on the boat. Like,
Yeah, man.
like I was like, you want to swim?
While you was on vacation?
Yeah, while I was on vacation. And I told them, like, yo, I'm on vacation. You ruining my vacation with your silly antics. Apologize. And they apologize.
Yeah, you're ruining my vacation. What's wrong with you?
With your antics,
Kiss
bro.
the ring. Like, it's like, kiss the ring. Apologize.
Nah, I told him don't do that anymore, and don't do that to anybody anymore. And I told him, like, he could get touched.
You gonna fly down there, fix him.
I had to let him know, bro. I told him, yo, I had to control myself because this not my country, but at the same time,
You did a great job.
you got to disrespect me.
I think you did a great job in another country, man. I don't know how far you would have went in New York.
Well, I had to control myself, man.
Nah, but you're right. It's usually mostly love outside the country.
Yeah, way more love than here.
Way more love than it. New York is really what they call a concrete jungle, man. It's really like the modern day version of the jungle. Like there's like animals out there. Like I would say in the sense of, I would say Labor Day and, you know, being a part of more of the Jamaican side of things, I see like there's really like some people that's in battle mode all the time. Like they don't have no chill button. They always ready to press somebody. Even when think about when you take the train, making eye contact with people on the train in New York could lead to somebody giving you a grill. Like, what you looking at? Like,
Exactly. It's a jungle out there, man.
There's a way to combat it. Like me nowadays, you know, I try to smoothen it out. You know, having kids, having a daughter, like that helped me to, like, you know, chill out
that
a
was
lot.
like the realest Jay-Z line when he was like, I got a daughter, gotta get softer. I was like, that's
Yo, that line makes so much sense to me now.
Yeah, so like now, like if I'm in public and someone pressing me, I just say, yo, what's good, man? How you doing? and sometimes they're like, hey, what's good, man? Or they just be like, what? And they just walk off.
They get caught off guard by your kindness and yeah, it's always smart to show respect, and you know, respect is respect.
Yeah.
Everybody deserves that in the beginning, at least. You lose respect, you know.
Exactly, over time.
Yeah.
Nah, but my daughter changed me completely. Like,
How so?
now it's like I wake up like, yo, normally like I don't want to go to work today. I'm gonna stay home. Like now it's like, nah, I gotta go to work. Like now it's like, yo, I got a good job, stable job, finish with school, but it's like that's not enough money. Like I need
You need to
like
keep hustling.
I got to keep hustling. Like I need her to not have to work as hard
Exactly.
as I did. Like
But wouldn't you say that's spoiling the kids too? Because I feel like the millennials also have that mindset of they
white
don't wanna
people do
work.
it all the time.
You're right.
Like,
but-
why do my kids gotta struggle? Like, no, like I struggled. It ain't fun. Like
Mm-mm.
the struggle ain't fun.
Yeah. You're right.
I'm like, why my daughter? Nah, I want her to be able to be like, yo, I want to travel the world. I want her to be a millennial, to have that freedom where it's like, yo, you know what, Dad? I want to take a semester off. I want to backpack through Europe. Like, that's not some shit we ever thought about.
Right
Yeah.
About that. We
I
ain't
think
had that type of
that's
opportunity.
true. I still haven't stepped foot in Europe yet. I know you have a few times, right?
Yeah, they treat us like we're LeBron James, bro. They
Yeah.
look at all of us like we're athletes, like we're like giants out there. To
Yeah,
them.
it's
And
like
not
you gotta
even-
be rich to pull up.
And mind you, you don't really gotta be flashy. Their terms of me wearing a regular suit, bro, they thought it was like, what? You are fly. Like, you dressed up right now to go to this party? I'm like, this is how I normally dress. They're like, what? It was so bad that in a Brooklyn sense of things, dudes was there with their girl and cheerleading for us. Like, it's just...
That's crazy. Well, I need to go there.
There's like, yeah, dudes was just saying, yeah, I saw him yesterday at the party. I know him. Like,
Yeah, I mean the black man is God.
That's
That's all it is.
they really see us like that. out
That's what
there.
it is. It's only in America that they changed the perception of black men based on the media's perspective and how they show us on treating us and the way we grew up. And recently I went to HRA. For those that don't know, HRA, that's the Human Resource Administration, basically the welfare office. So I went there with a client, right? And he went there to get a one-shot deal. A one-shot deal basically is like you're going to the government and asking for money to help pay for something one time, supposedly. It's either that or you asking them for a loan. Most time people use it when they're behind in their rent or when they're trying to move into a new place and they can't afford the first month rent, first month security, which is 2 times the rent. So there's a whole bunch of people in there, low income people. So they're over there talking and they talking about, F college, because you don't need college. And I'm looking at these people like, you're saying
whatever you could get. Right?
you're talking bad about college, but yeah, almost everyone that's here servicing you went to college, and you're the one begging, and they're the one giving. So, and they was like, no, but you'll get a trade. I'm like, okay, I hear a lot of people say that. I hear that a lot. You don't have to go to college, you could get a trade. Yes, you can get a trade. You could get welding, automobile engineering, electrical engineering, computer coding, and things of that thing. But not a lot of these Negroes growing up in the projects that watching their parents do nothing and they not doing nothing are gonna do it. Most of the people I knew from the hood that went to these things to get trades is because they went to jail, then they end up being on welfare, then they had to go to back to work program where they make you work for your welfare, or they went to jail and they was mandated to go to the bride or like some back to work program, and they'll go all the way like someplace in the middle of nowhere and they go and do welding or something like that. And those are hard jobs. Like those are not easy jobs where you just sit down and you chill. Like it's manual labor jobs, like really hard. And a lot of these dudes, they want to get high, they're lazy, and they're not gonna do those jobs. So for you to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get me a trade, that's not realistic because you're right here in the welfare office 3 generations. It's your grandmother, your mother, and you in the welfare office. None of y'all got a trade, but you talking about F college to other people. Why? So the guy I went with, he's sitting next to me, and I'm like, so what do you think? He's like, man, I've always had a job. I'm like, yeah, you always had a job, but you on SSI right now, you only make $750 a month. He's like, yeah, but I always had me a job. I always got me a job. I did good. And I said, oh, so do you have your GEDs? I'm nah. I was 12 points away from getting that GED, and I didn't get it. I said, okay, so do you think your life would have been different if you got your GED? So, hell yeah, my life would have been different. I wouldn't be here right now asking for money. I'm like, exactly. But yeah, you were talking bad about college. You couldn't get to college because you didn't finish high school and you didn't get a GED, and now you're stuck here. You know your life would be better because you would have had more options to do different things, Education is just a vehicle, and it depends on what type of education you have. But if you start at the very lowest of life, it's even harder to climb out. And education becomes that vehicle that helps you climb out.
Gets into different areas that can help you.
Exactly.
Build your ship.
Exactly, because there's not a lot of people that's in high positions that's gonna help you if you're not well educated. If you can't even carry a conversation, which most of them can't.
That just brought me back. I'm not even gonna talk about it.
But I mean, like you gotta I also look at it like through the other side too, is like working in education itself. Like the system was never created for certain people, right? And you got people, like I have a few students now, like one girl for example, like her sisters got kids all before they graduated middle school.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, she's probably not gonna end up finishing high school.
It's a lot.
But is that like, at what point do we start looking at the society around them and it's like, is it nature or nurture? Like, do you not think school's important because of you or based on your environment? Like, if
It's usually the environment.
I said the environment, because look at the welfare office are full of a whole bunch of people. And you know what they spoke about after they said college is whack? They started talking about how bad their projects is, how people got killed over jackets, how you couldn't walk through a certain project at a certain time, and they was bragging about it.
One thing they do well is they put us in situations where I would say we're in low income areas, so everyone knows there's fast money and there's slow money.
Survival mode.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're in survival mode, you're not really thinking about slow money. You don't got that type of mindset because you're like, how long can I make it?
School's an investment. It takes a while.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see why they be backlash in college, and a lot of them, is trying to do the fast money route because they just want to get out as soon as possible. They want to escape. That's why a lot of them is doing weed, drinking. They doing all these things to escape their reality, which it's kind of messed up. They didn't really ask to be born in this life. Somebody have them, and then they're in this life where they have to hustle, and everyone to them is like an enemy, or they're always in survival mode. And that's just the way it's been. That's why I feel like we need more of those help centers that can, raise the kings and raise the queens up. Make them feel like they don't got to do it by themselves. Because once you feel like you by yourself, then everyone's an enemy, then you in gun mode,
But then look, now you're living in a project apartment with your mother, right? And you have no father because your father is either in jail or he left, right? So now you living in there with your mother off a fixed income, living under the 200% poverty level, and your rent is only about $200, and you're living off of $300 worth of food stamps a month, right? And since you get a new pair of Jordans every week or once a month,
topic. It don't matter
you think you're the person, right? You think you're that dude or you're that chick, right? It's either the dope boy that's giving the girl the latest phone in the latest sneaker, or the guy that's selling drugs, or he's robbing to get the new sneaker, right? So boom, now the dope boy, he ends up getting the girl pregnant that lives with her mother in the project apartment. Now she has a kid. Now you got 1, 2, 3 generations, right? Now they growing up in that atmosphere. No father. The girl,
no grandfather,
no
great grandfather,
and no husbands, right? And now they go to the school, right? They go to your school. Now, what class do you think they're gonna be in? Special education, right? Because the mother's getting high and drinking and talking ish at the table, and she's not doing homework with these kids. She's not teaching them how to read because she probably can't read her damn self. So, and the grandmother,
she don't want to get caught not knowing a word.
Exactly. and the grandmother's probably the only one working, and she's probably working some retail job, and the daughter's just waiting for the mom to get married or go away or die so she could get that project apartment, so then her kid could have a kid in there too. And this is things that I've seen with my own eyes, 2, 3
just watching
generations. And they're watching me. A lot like, who does this guy think he is? He's going to school. I remember back in the days when I was working with these people in retail, I used to like, yeah, I'm going to school. They used to laugh at me like, this guy going to school, this hood dude, he's sagging his pants, he talking crazy, he's going to school. I'm like, man, I'm going to show y'all. I'm a gangster and a scholar, bro.
See, they don't get us. I feel like we were a different class because it was always like, I feel connected to the hood. I guess that's a Canarsie thing in the sense of like, I feel like we're still partially hood, but then I also know what it means to be educated, business orientated, and investing. Like, I know to look for the future. I feel like the hood don't really look at the future.
No.
I mean, it depends on what hood gangsters you look up to. Because, like, when we grew up, the person I listened to the most was Jay. And Jay always sold drugs to get out. Like, every story was like, yo, I'm trying to get my mama out. I gotta look out for this, look out for that.
The artists back then was different too. Oh, we don't even want to talk about music on here. We could go all day.
It's like, I think that's what this generation is missing. Is like, to them, J. Cole's boring.
Yeah.
Kendrick is boring. But it's like, if you really listen to what J. Cole talking about, he's talking about your life. He's talking about your father not being there, you not knowing right from wrong, you not knowing.
They still want the braggadocious stuff because, I guess in an aspect they want to feel good while listening to the music, because that was one thing Jay was, and Biggie, and I would say what made the difference between Jay and Nas was Jay was more of a fun listen to. You know, he still threw in those braggadocious lines that made you feel good. Even think about Dirt Off Your Shoulder. I probably owe it to y'all. I probably be locked by the force. But the whole type of vibe in the song was, you know, made you feel like you're a boss.
True.
I would say they don't have, or at least Kendrick has some songs, but I'd say J. Cole lately, he hasn't been giving you those songs that make you feel like a boss. You know?
Nah. He said he gave up on the people. He's just chilling somewhere.
But I mean, you can't. Yeah, I'm with J. Cole. J. Cole's my guy first, man. Because, like, you got to really think about that battle, though. Like, if you a up-and-coming rapper, like, you ain't rapping for fun. You rapping the same
to prove
thing.
yourself.
Like, you, like, yo, I got to kill these beats. But also, I got my family I want to take care of. I got all these people. And then if I'm preaching something to y'all that y'all like, oh, you know what, I don't want to hear that. You know what? I'm still a businessman at the end of the day, so I'm gonna go make my money. And then if I come back to it, like Nas did the same thing. Like Nas realized, like, yo, I'm not making no money with this conscious rap. Look at Common.
Yeah.
Like, look at all these dope rappers where it's like, yo, why isn't he that
conscious
good?
rappers?
It's like Jay-Z. You know, honestly, I wanted to rap like Common Sense, but I sold 3 mil. I ain't rapping like Common Sense.
That's real talking. Like, that's the same thing. Like, I think these kids are dealing with, like, when you teaching and you talking to them, it's like, yo, school's boring. Like, I just want to go make money.
I feel like they don't. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but their type of money isn't like. I feel like they don't look at the game, the ending plan. You know, they just think I gotta get money. However, I could get money.
I don't think they know what money is, bro. Because when I was getting street money, I thought I was getting money. If I get a couple thousand here and there, I thought I had money. I had money to, like, buy whatever I wanted, take out whatever girl I wanted, pay for a hotel and do what I had to do, and I felt like the man.
What did you have to do?
But when you get older, you realize a couple thousand is nothing. Like, that's something that you drop on bills regularly.
On a regular month.
Yeah, and if you was getting a few thousand here and there, like how these dope boys really get it, or these scammers, like here and there, I'll say like every other month or every few months. Not
it wasn't
consistently.
consistent like a paycheck.
It was never consistent. And don't ever let them trick you into thinking that it's consistent, because it's not. It's not. Every game is up and down.
Facts. That's true. You gotta start with slow money and end with slow money. Fast money is, you know, it's like something you do on the side. It's never supposed to be your main hustle. Your main hustle is supposed to be investing in slow money, saving. You don't gotta wear the Hermes belt. If you got it like that, then you're good. You're blessed, but don't be trying to get more than one Hermes belt just because you think all the girls is gonna like you.
Right. And those belts are uncomfortable anyway. Like when you sit down, that
buckle hurts the
your stomach, bro.
I had one in the past, man.
And the bigger the buckle is, like you think you starting when you sit down, man. Nah, it hurts. Yeah. Shout to Eric Jean Baptiste. Stay on the check-in every week. He said it's institutional. Of course, the whole thing is institutional, and it's crazy how we fall into the institution of racism, but then we shun the institution of higher education that's going to take us out of that. You understand? Like I don't understand.
We look at higher education as, you know, something that's going to hold us back, but it actually should level us up.
Exactly.
People are afraid of the money, though.
The majority of the educated Negroes have money.
That's true.
He also said big labels aren't going to promote truth tellers. That's a fact. A perfect example is this. Do you guys know that Shaquille O'Neal has a PhD? Yeah. He's Dr. Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah. So I remember this. Yeah. So as much as you guys think that he's big and doofy and he's dumb,
he's an actor. Yeah. Even on Lil Wayne. Yeah. Don't Lil Wayne have one too?
Yeah. Lil Wayne went back to college and got a degree. Even Nick Cannon, he's in school right now. He's in college right now.
But they don't brag about this stuff. They don't let you know about this stuff because it's too educational, I guess. Or
why do you think these people are doing this and then they're going back to get their education? There must be a reason. They know that those games, there's no longevity in those games.
That's fast money.
And you grab the bag and you go. It was this guy.
Facts.
who was playing football. He played football for like 2 years, and then he quit to become a Rhodes Scholar.
I always
became
said
a
that's
doctor.
what I
Oh,
always
yeah.
did. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie.
And then 2 other guys did the same thing. And now you see a lot of football players doing it.
Yeah.
They playing for like four years and they quitting. And people are getting mad. Like, why you getting mad? It's my body. I'm the one that's sustaining brain damage.
And they
messing up
catching
my
on
back.
to it
You
like,
know
yo, I'm
that?
not stupid. I'm not gonna play this and damage the rest of my life for 15 years. I'm gonna be ruined for like 40.
But you only quit once you've already come up with that plan. Like
Yeah.
those players that quit, like they
had
already
the
knew
blueprint.
they already knew they was leaving from college. They're like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get a nice foundation. So when I leave with this free education, I'm gonna take.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna be able to go build this foundation
and
be
work
able-
from there.
and work for myself.
Because they were saying today, I was listening to Dame Dash. Shout out to Dame Dash. He was saying that the jobs that they promote to black people are lottery jobs. Rapper, basketball player, baseball player. Those are lottery jobs. Only 1% of the people that's going for those jobs make that job. On an average team, there's only a roster of 20 people, right?
Stephen A. Smith said something about that.
So like, if there's only 20 people on a team, and there's like 21 teams or 31 teams or something like that.
32.
32 teams, I think, or 30 teams, right? And there's only 20 spots on each team. But how much colleges is around the country?
Huh,
How much kids are playing on each team?
huh.
So, and you look at the draft only drafts like how much, 100 kids a year?
Mhm.
So, I think the first round is what?
Even if you, no
Only
matter
50
how you
people?
do the math, you're looking at less than 10%, less than 5%.
It's 1%,
Yeah.
bro. 1%.
But I think what we got to start doing is educating black kids. Like, you can still want to be a basketball player and just get that free education.
Of
Like, you're
course.
not gonna make it to the league.
Don't even care about that. Have another plan, you know. Have that be like plan C, you know. If I get into the league, congratulations, you know.
Yeah.
But don't let that be your
Like-
driver's
Like,
seat.
get that free education, and then you do whatever you want with it, because they can't take that from you.
Of course.
And like a lot of these people don't realize wealth isn't how much money's in your bank account. When they run your credit score, what could you get?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you need to put a down payment to be able to walk away with, or is your credit score good enough?
Do they trust you?
Exactly.
Do they trust you?
We had a former NBA player come on the show, Nigel Bynum. He played for the New York Knicks, matter of fact, and he went to St. Francis. Full scholarship. He went there for free, and he was saying that he played in the NBA for a few years, and then when he wasn't all that good, he went overseas, made a couple dollars over there, and then when he retired, he went back to his home country. I believe he's from Trinidad, and he started buying real estate
Trinidad.
out there, and started flipping cribs out there to the point where, you know, his money was way longer over there,
Yeah.
and so he's just a landlord. That's all he does. Is just buy
He just
houses,
owns the
flip
houses,
and
yeah.
rent them out. So he don't gotta do anything else for the rest of his life. And he
Yeah.
owns real estate in the U.S. too, so he doesn't even work anymore. And that's how we gotta think. Where, okay, what can I do to get this big bag? But once I get the bag, how do I diversify
How
it
do you
and keep
flip the
flipping
bag?
Exactly.
it? Because even
Stop
some
thinking small money.
exactly, because even if you do get a big bag, if you blow through it too fast, then it's gone.
Exactly.
But a lot of them, they don't teach. That's another thing.
They don't teach it in school
They
either.
don't teach it at school, man. They don't teach that
Y'all
hustle.
gonna stop coming at school. Y'all gonna stop coming at education. Like,
All right, we're not just gonna say school, but
we
it's the
try
parents
to teach
too.
it though. And I think that's the bigger key.
Yeah,
like,
it's the parents.
my mom taught me financial stability. Like, no school, no college, not my undergrad, not my master's, not teaching now. Like, my mom taught me financial stability. That if my credit score ain't good enough, it don't matter how much money I make.
Facts.
But your mom was smart enough to know that, because I'm pretty sure your mom's educated too, right?
Yeah, but she never, like, she educated to, like, high school, some college.
But
Yeah,
life
she's,
educated her too.
Yeah, like, come
Life
in.
is the best teacher of all, man.
It's only a good teacher if you're able to be a teacher eventually and teach other people. A
Mhm.
wise man once said that I already made it to your age. Your goal is to make it to my age. And I think that goes over the head of a lot of people. You understand?
A sense of experience.
Yeah.
That's the biggest factor.
I remember I was almost murdered at 21, and now I'm 31. So when I look back at kids that's like in their teens and in their 20s, I'm like, yo, most of the things that you claiming to do, I did it for real. So you could just hold that for yourself. I'm just trying to teach you a better way to do better.
I'm trying to tell you what to do after that.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with settling down. There's nothing wrong with getting a job. There's nothing wrong with going to school. There's nothing wrong with paying taxes and living a regular life. There's nothing wrong with that. You get to go home every day and live your life and enjoy life. And when you make enough, you'll go on vacation, enjoy yourself. And when you make it to a certain position where you're making money, you get to invest and live an even better life.
Let me say, can I say, what do y'all think the biggest enemy for the millennials is social media?
I think so.
Because I think even when they go on these traveling trips, they're not going to actually enjoy it because of how we are. We grew up like J. Cole said, the middle child. I feel like we're right between both generations. So I feel like I go out to these places and I don't think to pull out my camera. I get mad later on because I'm like, oh damn, that would have been a good flick. But
sometimes the picture is good because you get to seize the moment and you get to save that moment in time.
I feel like there's memories that I have that are better than the pictures.
Yeah.
But we can't knock social media because social media is also creating how many African American millionaires as well. Like
create this show, this business.
And I think that there's a certain aspect, like with anything, too much is bad.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right? But if we can teach the people under us, and I think like that's our job as a middle child, right? Is like I can't look down on you because you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
And it's my fault you don't know what you know because I'm not teaching you.
Exactly. Like the OGs, like my cousin, even like Rickard for us, like would pull us aside and just give us the game. Like it wasn't like, yo, your generation is trash. It's like, yo, this is what you're about to walk into. Start making some better moves. And I think like that's what we need to do is like, yo, like just reach back and grab one person. Like, yo, like yeah, you gonna hug the block, cool. What you doing with that money after? Like instead
buy
of
back the block.
Exactly. Instead of your re-up, like go.
You don't own the block, but you does.
Exactly.
So
like,
put in work.
Exactly. How do we help? Because we can't change them.
Facts.
So it's like especially now, look at my daughter. Like yo, she's gonna have a phone.
She already knows how to use a phone, probably, right?
Yo, she pick up anything, a remote. She put it straight to her ear.
Yeah.
And it's like
my daughter knows how to
Pop
take the
it?
phone, put it to my face, unlock it, and then go on YouTube.
and do what she gotta do.
And when I don't give her the phone, she's like, phone. I'm like, no. She's like, why?
Oh, she's gonna be a problem later on.
I'm like, don't ask me why. Go sit down.
That's-
And then she'll cry. She'll be like,
My nephew wanted an iPhone at the age of 10, and we're like, who are you calling? You
Yo,
don't got
give
no
it to
girls.
him, man. Give it to
Yo.
him because he could be a coder. He could be a social media. Like he could do so much. Like we just need to, like, you know what? Like you
You're
don't
right.
grow up the way I grew up.
You
no,
know,
they didn't.
Like just be better.
They
than me.
can't. They can't have that opportunity. They'll never experience.
They're
online.
developing fast, bro. Because if you look at it, my daughter could use the phone and go on YouTube. There's some parents that can't even do that.
Exactly.
My parents just learned how to use smartphones like 2-3 years ago.
My mom just started texting, man. Like she just started texting on WhatsApp, bro. The Caribbean
Nations.
hotline.
Yeah, the hotline. The Haitian hotline. What's up?
That's your
That's
WhatsApp.
the
is
West.
Haitian
That's the
Instagram,
West.
bro.
Nah, that's just,
They're like,
that's
oh,
all
you
the
have
West
WhatsApp?
Indies. That's all the West Indies. They treat that like that's their Facebook. Like
Yeah, what's up? And they send videos.
yeah, they
send-
be posting their
Yeah.
video on there.
Forward it back and forth
Yeah.
and change their status. Like,
And they send
They change
prayers
the
in the morning
status.
time.
you got statuses and everything. Like, get out of here, bro.
Yeah.
That's their Facebook for
They
real.
have their pictures posted up in suits.
You know the Caribbean picture where you with the flowers or the tree or something.
Oh, you gotta be next to the trees
Yeah,
in the
be
Caribbean
next.
picture. You can't be
Facts.
either that or on the beach.
Wow. I took one of those pictures too against the tree. I was like,
Yeah.
I got a couple of them out there too. Like, you got to, especially when you get a nice little tree. Like,
like,
like, this is it.
It's the moment. I've been waiting for this. Yeah, I'm gonna post this.
The mindset behind the picture, like
It's big, man. But I think that's what we could do. Like, just if we help out the person coming up.
yeah, I think it's our time to start speaking to these young cats. You know?
I think a lot of these elders we could say is trash because they were so they were so fixated on holding their position that they didn't teach those that came after them how to move.
Snoop Dogg actually blamed himself in terms of, he was like, he blamed the older heads that how rap became. He was like, you don't got a problem with every young kid having their new flow, but he was like, us older heads didn't really give them a direction.
Yeah, we didn't put them on.
Yeah, like we were just, braggadocious, of course, because this is what rap is about, but I think they heard a different message when everyone was like, yeah, I'm smoking weed to get high. It was usually, I'm grieving from my brother just died or something like that. Let's pour some Henny for our brother that passed. I think they're just doing it. They don't even got no family or anything like that. They don't really, nowadays, a 15-year friendship, bro, they don't even have 2-3 years worth.
No, they don't.
After they leave high school, they don't even remember those kids. Like,
it's a microwave society.
Yeah, they really quick on everything. Their friendship, their love life.
And the thing is, it transitioned from drug dealers to drug users. And the drug dealers was selling drugs to diversify their income and to invest in other things, like Jay-Z, obviously.
Yeah.
Now it's like the drug users where they're doing drugs, like, yeah, all my friends are dead, I'm about to die too.
I hate that dang song.
Now let me get high.
I got a bit of contrarian. Yeah, like I naturally agree with y'all, but like 21 Savage said in the interview, Jay-Z was rapping about his experiences, which was him selling drugs.
Yeah.
These young dudes is talking about their experiences. Jay-Z was selling drugs to who? These young kids' families. Like the same way we grew up on this music. 21, I'm just using his name, or
I know
Kodak Black. These kids grew up to an environment to their parents being the people buying the drugs. So we can just also just be like, you know what?
So the victim of the aftermath.
Exactly. Like we got to take some responsibility in that. And then like we gotta look back instead of saying like, yo, like 6ix9ine, like, yeah, you crazy, but what did we do to contribute to you feeling that was the only way you could come up? Like being somebody completely opposite of who you are.
One of the things that the judge did, the judge mandated him to go to mental health counseling because a lot of these people are suffering from mental health problems, and unfortunately they self-medicating themselves by taking drugs and alcohol. And that's creating a bigger problem.
It creating a huge problem because now their rap careers are lasting like 3 years. Before you had longevity in the game, like if
3 years, bro, I give them 2.
Like 2 years, an album and a half, call it a day.
One hot summer,
pretty much.
One hot summer and a tour. That's
Except
it.
Bobby cool forever, man.
Bobby's real low. Man.
Bobby Smurda or Bobby Brown?
Bobby Smurda. Bobby Smurda, man. You know I'm from Brooklyn, man.
That was the realest thing ever, though. Like him taking more time.
Oh, for his man to get less time.
Is that real or was that stupid?
I mean, you could compare 6ix9ine to Bobby Smurda. I mean, as in, they're 2 different routes.
Right.
Bobby kept it a buck. He didn't snitch. He didn't fold. He didn't roll. He held it down and he looked out for his man. 6ix9ine, everybody was for themselves. Kill or be killed. He snitched on everybody. And they said that even after he gets out of jail, he's still gonna be an informant.
I mean, you can only speak from the outside, I guess. We can also only speak from the outside. But I feel like if it's, my brothers is my brothers like my mother's kids, If it's like that type of relationship with your family, then it's like, then you don't snitch. But I guess in 6ix9ine case, he's probably a part of the new millennials in the aspect of, they brothers for like the day. I swear these sisters be having their friends for like 1 week and they be like, F that chick, I ain't talking to her.
Quick.
Yeah, like they just...
It's microwave relationship.
Yeah, like they really... So I guess they don't really have that, deep relation. They don't really get deep with anything except their sensitivity.
So would you have snitched though, bro? That's the $1 million question. If you had your family the way it is right now set up, you got your family, you got kid at home.
Take the hit for everybody.
And it was you take the hit for everybody, or you being able to come home and raise your kid.
But his baby mother's arguing that he wasn't really raising his kid, using her as a pawn.
Nah, but I'm just being okay.
In more of a
situation. But yeah, even though still, like, the kid is a kid. Like, I think that has to have some aspect. Like,
you gotta have that father figure.
a lot of people saying
The
that.
early years is important.
Facts.
Got me thinking.
I told you, everybody will tell. I keep it a stack. I think everybody will tell. I think if telling could get you out, I think anybody will tell.
Only because of the kid.
I think it depends on how much of a gangster you are. If you're like, yo, I'm a gangster, this is what I do, and that's how it's
It
gonna go
depends
down.
on your code,
True.
Yeah,
True.
you're like, yo, I'm gonna hold it down at the end of the day. But if you're just doing it for show and you're not really gangster, like, yo, I'm not about this life. This is getting too much for me. I'm out. Like,
oh, I gotta go in the jail?
I've seen it happen where like I used to chill with these kids. Like they swore that they were gangster. Like they swore that they were gang banging and they was doing all this and doing all
I feel
that.
like this was down the block.
And then when we caught a charge and whatnot, and we went to jail, and the same kid who was thinking that he was a gangster, he was in the cell crying. Like I seen him crying, and I was like, "Yo, you're good." Is yeah, and he's in the corner crying.
Cut from
So-
a different cloth. Man.
So I'm sure if the charges was any more serious, he probably would have told.
You're
I
right.
mean, it is what it is. Like when you in the cell and they, and you gotta understand, these people know how to manipulate you. They'll tell you that the next man told on you, so you
Oh,
could
I
tell.
don't watch too many
And then,
shows
you
about
know,
that. Law and Order.
They really do that because they did it to me.
Mhm.
You know, they told me, yeah, this guy already told on you. You might as well tell on him, blah blah, this and that, or
Save
or
yourself.
write a statement and whatnot. And at the time, I was like, yo, am I gonna still keep my job? He was like, oh, well, we don't know, blah blah. I'm like, you know what? I ripped the paper up, I threw it in their face, and I told them SMD. And as soon as I got up, and as soon as I got up, I seen the two white cops, and I was like, damn, it's over for me. And then I seen him come around the corner crying, like he was crying, and I was like, all right, and I was like, it is what it is, you know. Not everybody is built for that situation, and you gotta respect that. Like, you know, not all the people that you hang out with that claims to be a gangster is gonna be a gangster. Sometimes you're gonna have to just take a L.
You'll find out in the moment.
You find when I was younger, we was fighting a fair fight, but then people who was claiming to be goons, claiming to be gangster, what happened? They ran away and I got jumped. So I've been through those situations. A lot of these dudes, like, they not built the way that they portray to be built. Like, you better off just being dolly, because at least when you dolly, you know that you could hold yourself down. You know?
Facts. You wouldn't put yourself in that situation where you think you got the numbers and then you don't got the numbers.
Because that's the worst feeling in the world, trust me.
That type of flip. I mean,
Would you have told, bro?
Nah, I wouldn't. It all. Let me tell you what would make the deciding factor. If I told my boys I wouldn't tell, then I got no choice but not to tell, man. If I never had to make that promise, like say we did something and it was like that was not on the table, then it's a harder decision for me. But if I already told them, I feel like I'm breaking a promise, and I'm BK Truth, man. I can't do that no
dirt,
more.
bro. The best way to do dirt, bro, is on your lonely.
That's
Facts.
That's real.
Because you won't tell on yourself.
And
If
you won't
tell
get
on
nobody
yourself-
else in that situation.
Exactly.
You know?
And if you tell on yourself, you take the plea. Like, yeah, I confess. Give me a plea. And get
That's
out of here.
facts.
So closing thoughts, gentlemen, so you get up out of here.
Education is the key, man.
Kings raise kingdoms, man. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. When he went into the teacher world, let me say this. He's still I don't know. We're going to put this with a question mark. Angry Haitian, you know. That used to be his name. But he's showing a lot more progress now, and I'll say a lot more patience. So do your thing, man. Lead those kids, man. We need that.
Education is the key, man. Especially growing up in Canarsie when Canarsie was Canarsie. Like, it wasn't scammers, like it was drug dealers.
Oh yeah, much better light.
The criminals was different. Like it was drug dealers, and it was like, yo, you don't walk down this block by yourself unless you know such and such right in the middle of the block.
If you can't say that name on the block, that you know.
can't say names. I don't say names, but it's like right. There was one by Canarsie. There's a couple of spots where it's like you didn't go by yourself.
Yeah.
But it's like that was still education. Like my cousin educated me earlier. Like, yo, maneuver,
Street education.
like exactly, maneuver correctly. Like be a man in your word. And I think like we just gotta give back. Like Like that's why I went into teaching. Like I left Wall Street, I left immigration, I left like an easier job, an easy 9 to 5, because like yo, I gotta get one person. As long as I get one person to just wake up, and I'm good, and then that person, and then
You did more than a lot of people out there.
and then eventually that'll, like hopefully that'll just keep carrying
Transition.
forward. Yeah.
Facts. Shout to Eric Jean Baptiste. This is a closing word. He said the number one thing you learn in college is that to be successful, you never stop learning. That's deep.
That's how you stay young.
The day the man start learning is the day that he dies.
Amen.
So shout out to everybody that's been watching. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Shout out to all of you that watched tonight. You can subscribe to our YouTube at The Real Word TV. One word, The Real Word TV. The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. That's The Real Word and the Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. Watch us on the brick. And we see you guys next week for the last episode of the season before we close out. Any of you guys willing to pray?
I did last week, just saying.
You want to pray?
Nah, I don't think I'm the right person.
Why that?
Nah, I'm not a prayer type of guy. I don't think.
You
I'm
could give us 5 seconds.
All right, I got you. What do I just bow our heads? Like, how this work? All right.
However your vibe go, man.
Go ahead, bro.
We're gonna try this. All right, please, Lord, bless us, niggas. Thank you for bringing us together today. Thank you for watching over us as we made our paths. Continue to watch over us. Continue to bless the show. In your name we pray.
Amen. And that's The Real Word, guys. See you next week.
You heard that?